Again,
in
I
this
think it's
case, because
fine if
to
he
be
like
fair, if
flares his sage mode, but doesn't actually go into like the full sage mode. And but then once code goes away, he like stops using it maybe, or he just keeps the flare small so he can chase after. So he's conserving it
the only
maybe.
problem, while I agree that makes more sense in universe, it completely, in my opinion, reduces the feel of the stage mode awakening scene because I feel like it's more oomph when he goes from 0 to 100. Granted, you could do the halfway mode and then he goes all out with Kawaki. It that works.
Again, I
It doesn't
think
have quite the same
like I
feel
was
as the
saying, I think it's fine if he just
because
flares it in the fight. If not for like a long duration of the fight, at least for like a couple of attacks, so he's using it conservatively. Like he's turning it on and off almost like a light switch. Like what
I
he
mean,
did in the Deepa fight. He only flared it for like 1 second in the attack in Boruto's Rasengan.
and I agree, especially with anime logic, but looking at the manga only, it's only what he was super pissed that he
Yeah.
ever uses it in the manga. Because of that, and then of course the same thing happens in the time skip. It's Boruto again. It's a pure rage thing for him. Of course, in the Mitsuki one shot, you could argue it was or wasn't rage because he was angry, but he was also just confused. So it's a little bit different there. I'm thinking too much in the sense of what we got, I will admit, because if I just get that out of my head, I wouldn't be mad about the flaring of the form type of thing. But then you have to ask why didn't he use it against Bomo and so on.
I just like the anime's depiction of it better, where you can just flare it, because otherwise he just doesn't do it in the manga at all.
Yeah, I mean, honestly speaking, I think I would have just probably included it in the Boro fight somewhere. I just don't know where because of the Borushiki part. So let's actually
Yeah.
backtrack. How would you have done it in that fight if he used it?
I hate
Would
to
it just
say whenever Boruto gets hurt, because then why doesn't he just rage? And then why wouldn't he have used it in the Boro fight? I think how I would do it is, I hate to say this because they never even explain this in the manga at all, but so Sage Mode just hurts him in the manga. We're just gonna include that, taking that from the anime. We'll just have written it in
Oh
earlier
yeah,
somewhere.
for sure.
We'll just
Was
have
wasn't addressed in the
yeah,
manga,
we'll
but
have the
yeah.
flare thing be his way of getting around that as like a smart ninja tactic thing, to where if he doesn't
Mhm.
actually use it all the way or use it for a long time, he can withstand the burden of it. It still hurts him, but it only fatigues him. It doesn't cause like long-term damage or anaerobic
Like
activity. So
when he uses
significant
like a
stress.
partial version against Ku, he's just fine. But when
Yeah.
he does the full form against Deepa, that's when he ran into
I
problems.
think they
So
could compare it to
it's
something like stress or even like falling down a distance. If you jump down 5 feet, you'll feel the stress, but you'll be completely fine. If you jump down like 20 feet, you'll not only feel the stress, but you'll actually be hurt from the stress.
if we were gonna do the Boro fight thing, you could just have it be like, A, he does it in that fight. Maybe that's like part of Sarda landing the Chidori. If like just have Mitsuki be a bigger player to that, where he's like the big distraction for Boro.
Hypothetically, even
He
if
could
you
also like
don't do it like they didn't do it originally, if you just don't do it, their way of explaining that could just be he hasn't figured that out yet, so that is still a limitation of the Sage mode. He just can't use it at all yet.
you could just do a thing to where he does use in the Boro fight. He does have repercussions. And so in this fight against Code, he's using it differently to circumvent it. But then when Kawaki does his thing, he just it all goes out the window. He doesn't care anymore. We're actually showing the it hurts him part in the Boro fight, much like the Deepa fight, rather than just referencing it. So in this case, or actually, how about this? If we're really gonna go this far back in rewrites, just freaking have the Deepa arc begin it.
That's fun. I like it.
With that
Because
part.
I definitely want it to be the result of training somehow after the Boro fight,
Yes.
specifically after Sarda and Mitsuki had the conversation
Oh,
and they're
even
like, "We
better.
got to be stronger."
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. It could be even like a nod to that. That's how
Yeah.
Mitsuki is trying to catch up because he knows, hey, my power is on the level of the Ootsutsuki. It just hurts me instead of getting taken over. It literally hurts me. So how can I catch up? Well, why don't I use it intelligently? Blah blah blah. That works. I love it.